Hey guys, Katie with the Grass Skirt Lounge, back at you with some more cannabis news from Leafly and another article from Ben Atlin. White House plans greater enforcement against legal cannabis. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer sent a jolt through the cannabis world on Thursday, suggesting at a media briefing that the Trump administration could take actions to crack down on state legal cannabis programs. I think you'll see greater enforcement, Spicer said, according to The Hill. He added that precisely what that meant will be a question for the Department of Justice. Spicer, answering questions from reporters, drew a distinction between medical and non medical cannabis programs, expressing some support for the very sick who find relief through cannabis. Trump understands the pain and suffering that many people go through who are facing especially terminal diseases and the comfort that some of these drugs, including medical marijuana, can bring to them, he said, according to Politico. Also noting previous action by Congress not to fund the Justice Department going after those folks. As for recreational marijuana, that's a very, very different subject, Spicer said. When you see something like the opioid addiction crisis blossoming in so many states around this country, the last thing we should be doing is encouraging people, he said. Now, this is an added notation by the writer. Worth noting, opioid use has actually fallen in states that have legalized cannabis. Now, you guys can check out Leafly for more on this story and similar stories and related stories. But let's talk about Sean Spicer for a second and how absolutely seemingly clueless he is to the actual facts about medical marijuana or marijuana period, whether it's for recreational use or not. He's making some glaring contradictions because the funny thing about the opioid addiction is that those are drugs that are illegal for a person who doesn't have a prescription for those drugs to have. It's illegal for that. But here's the thing. They're being abused illegally, especially by, younger people, teenagers and people in their early 20s and some people in their 30s. Now, let's take this into consideration for a second. Why isn't government coming down on big pharma for their drugs, putting more restrictions on them? They're basically pulling a form of prestidigitation. This is like the Jedi mind trick. These are not the drugs you are looking for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because people are having more issues with the opioid crisis and methamphetamines and things of that nature than they are with medical marijuana. And most people who start off using pills, taking pills, they eventually, because they are opioids, right? They are opioids. Opium, poppy seeds, heroin, all derivative of poppy seeds, right? Now, people who start out taking opioid pills usually graduate to heroin a lot of times because these opioid pills are they're just a watered down version of heroin itself. The opioid crisis is creating an even larger drug addiction problem. Marijuana actually has properties that actually fight against addiction. So people who say they're addicted to marijuana, I gotta question that. But anyway, I'm digressing too much. I don't want to make this video but so long, but you guys get where I'm coming from. I mean, I hope you do. They're making an issue about medical marijuana when pen caps are more dangerous than a joint. Hundreds of people a year die from choking on pen caps. I've never gagged off some Gorilla Glue or lamb's bread and, convulsed and went into a seizure and my heart stopped beating and stuff. It's never happened. It's never happened at all. So what do you guys think about Sean Spicer and him and Trump's administration trying to crack down on medical marijuana, at least recreationally? Because as we've seen and the numbers have shown, places that have legalized medical marijuana have seen a drop in alcoholism, hard drug use and abuse, and opioid pill abuse. It's a fact. This is what the numbers are reflecting. Why would our government want to fight against an industry that could potentially generate billions of dollars? They don't fight against cigarettes like that. Cigarettes are one of the most dangerous substances on the planet. So dangerous, in fact, it kills people that don't even smoke them. Imagine that. Alcohol, one of the most dangerous substances on the planet. Way more dangerous than marijuana. Cigarettes also. So dangerous that when you get drunk, you are a hazard to everyone around you. More people have died as a result to drunken mishaps, drunken driving, and things of that nature than anybody smoking marijuana. Just some food for thought.